We'll see we are continuing today in Mishna Yomi, and we find ourselves in the last Mishna of Perek Beis. So today we'll be doing Perek Beis Mishna Vav, second chapter, the sixth Mishna, and the third chapter, the first Mishna. So Perek Beis Mishna Vav says as follows: Kal halayla kasher l'ksira sa'omer. So after the last Mishnah spoke about mitzvos that are done by day, they could be done the entire day, the Mishnah gives some examples of mitzvos that are performed at night. So what are some examples of that? Ktsira somer, the cutting down of the barley, the harvesting of the barley for the Omer offering that is brought on the second day of Pesach. The hektar chalavim ve'evarim, which means the burning of the leftover fats and limbs. Remember, in the Beis HaMikdash, there is no sacrificial service that is done at night. The only thing that's done at night is the offering of the sacrificial parts, any leftover sacrificial fats and limbs. So that's done at night as well, throughout the entire night. And the Mishnah ends off with a principle, with a klal, zeh klal, davar shemitzvah so bayom kasher kalayom. Any mitzvah which can be done by day can be done throughout the entire day. The davar shemitzvah so balayla, similarly again, any mitzvah that is done at night, kasher kol halayla, can be done throughout the entire night. Again, as we mentioned yesterday, that although with certain mitzvahs you in fact do have the entire day, or I should say, as the Mishnah teaches us, with all daytime mitzvahs you have the entire day, with all nighttime mitzvahs you have the entire night, there is a concept of halacha of zrizus, of being alacritous, and therefore again performing the mitzvah at the first possible moment. Mazel Tov on the conclusion of Perek Beis. We now begin Perek Gimel, third chapter of Maseches Megillah. Suppose there's an interesting halach over here, where the Mishnah is going to talk about the halachos concerning if you sell off items which have sanctity, what you are permitted to do with the proceeds of that sale, recognizing that the proceeds themselves are vested with some level of sanctity. So you have the residents of a city who sold a road, who sold the street, right, in their city. You know, the Bartanura translates this, a rechov, as like a town square. The reason why the Bartanura does that is because in this case, actually, this links very much to Daf Yomi. It's the street, the main street or the town square had kedusha because during days when we were experiencing a drought, prayer gatherings would be held in the street or in the town square. As such, the square or the main thoroughfare has kedusha, has holiness. So therefore, you can use the proceeds to purchase a shul. Similarly, Beis HaKnesses, if you sold the shul, lochen teva, you could use the proceeds to purchase an ark, an Aron Kodesh teva. If you sold an ark, lochen mitpachos, you could use the proceeds to go ahead and purchase a cover for a Torah scroll, mitpachos. If you went and you sold the cover for the Torah, lochen svarim, you could buy scrolls of Tanakh, right, of Nevi'im and Ksuvim, Torah, of course, as well, svarim. If you went ahead and you sold scrolls of Nevi'im and Ksuvim, lochen Torah, you're permitted to go ahead and purchase a Torah. Now, the Mishnah is going to say it in just a moment, but the idea is that whenever you sell an item that has sanctity, you could use the proceeds towards something that has a greater level of sanctity, but not a lesser level than sanctity. So that's the order in the Mishnah over here. If you sell the street, you could buy a shul. You sell a shul, you could buy an ark. You sell an ark, you could buy Torah covers. You sell Torah covers, you could buy scrolls of Nevi'im and Ksuvim. You sell scrolls of Nevi'im and Ksuvim, you could buy a Torah. But now the Mishnah says conversely, in Machru Torah lo yikhu svarim, if you sold the Torah, you can't buy scrolls of Nevi'im and Ksuvim. Svarim lo yikhu mitpachos, or if you sell scrolls, you can't go ahead and purchase Torah covers. Mitpachos lo yikhu teva. If you sold Torah covers, you can't purchase an ark. Teva lo yikhu Beis HaKnesses. If you sold an ark, you can't purchase a shul. Beis HaKnesses lo yikhu es harechov. And ultimately, if you sold a shul, you can't purchase the main square. V'chein b'mos rein. So again, the Mishnah teaching me that again, this is just the exact reverse. So I could use proceeds of a sale of a sacred item to purchase something of greater sanctity, but not lesser sanctity. Now the Mishnah also adds in these words of Mosreim, which means even leftovers of sales. Let's say, for example, you go ahead and you sell the street, and the street you sold for $10,000. And it only cost $9,000 to buy a shul. So you might have thought that additional $1,000 is not governed by the same rules. The Mishnah says not true. Any proceeds that you go ahead and you receive from the sale of a sacred item, even if you use those proceeds to purchase something of greater sanctity, any leftover proceeds are still governed by these same rules. Another interesting caveat. You can't take a shul, which is used by the public, and sell it to an individual who's going to use it for his private use. Rabbi Yehuda says why? Because something that is used for public use has greater sanctity than something that's used for private use. And therefore, if you go ahead and you take it from the public sphere to the private sphere, you are diminishing its kedusha. Amrulo. So the Chachamim said back to Rabbi Yehuda, if that's the case, you also shouldn't be able to sell a shul that was used for in a large city to the residents of a small city. So, of course, Rabbi Yehuda would respond back to that. That's not really a fair comparison because a tzibur is a tzibur. That a collective has the kedusha of a collective, no matter what their number is, right? For example, tefillah b'tzibur. Once you have a minyan, you have a minyan. Now, while it's true that some things, the greater the number of people, the greater the sanctity of the mitzvah. But Rabbi Yehuda is saying there's a fundamental distinction between selling something that is owned by a large city to the ownership of a small city versus selling something that is used by the community and I'm making it the exclusive use of the individual. And in fact, again, the halacha follows Rabbi Yehuda, namely that you would not be permitted to take a shul that was used by a tzibor and sell it to a yachid, sell it to an individual. All right, Shkai Chabon, we'll stop over here for today. We'll pick up Emir Hashem in the rest of Parak Gimel tomorrow. Wishing everyone a wonderful day.